invited you for your budget defense. And this budget defense is a requirement of law. It is not a submission of appropriation to the National Assembly, but a submission of your budget for approval by the National Assembly, as provided for in Section 18 of the NDDC Act, which says the board shall, not later than 30th September in each year, submit to the National Assembly through the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, an estimate of the expenditure and income of the Commission during the next preceding year. Now inviting the Acting Managing Director of NDDC to first present the 2019 budget, but we start with the budget performance of the 2018. We want to know about the budget performance, 2018 budget, and then from there you will now go to make the presentation for your 2019 budget. You are invited.
Of course, the very, very distinguished senators and members of this committee. It is indeed a great privilege and honor for me to present the 2019 budget of the Niger Delta Development Commission to this distinguished Senate committee. It is with a deep sense of responsibility that I express my profound appreciation to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, under whose leadership we have been called to serve. It is important to note here that the policy direction of this interim management committee is to align totally with the next level agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari in repositioning the NDDC for effective delivery. We assumed office due to the yearnings of the great people of the Niger Delta region for proper accountability of the resources spent by the Commission, so as to realign it to its core mandate. This is a very tough task, but with the support of Mr. President, this distinguished Senate, and other stakeholders, the journey, God willing, shall be made smooth. We understand that our people have different expectations of the NDDC budget, and they believe the Commission will respond to their demands. However, the reality is that resources are limited, and no budget can ever meet and satisfy the yearnings of each and every member of our rural communities. We can only devote our efforts to provide support for the needs of the greater number of our people. My distinguished senators, I assure you all that members of the Interim Management Committee are committed to dealing with its indebtedness to contractors and other third parties. We are at an advanced stage of collating and verifying these obligations. We will ensure that a realistic payment plan is put in place to settle legitimate claims. I have come here today not only to address members of this distinguished Senate committee, but also to speak to our numerous stakeholders and representatives of our communities as I render account of what we have done as the NDDC so far and what we intend to do for the region. Obviously, this performance report encapsulates the activities of the Commission for the budget year 2018. The current Interim Management Committee, which I am the acting MD CEO, was inaugurated on October 29, 2019 by the Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari. Thus, this report will reflect the activities of the Commission under my predecessors. Distinguished senators will recall that the 2018 budget was predicated on assumptions of an aggregate revenue of 346,513 million naira, 46,220 naira. The Commission recorded an aggregate revenue inflow of 344 billion, representing 99% of the 2018 appropriation. The overhead expenditure, personnel, recurrent and internal capital, elapsed December 31st, similarly, 35.07 billion, representing 99.8% was spent. The capital expenditure on development projects elapsed July 31st, 2019, while 304.42 billion, representing 97.8%, was spent during the review year. The Commission recorded 98% on its performance for 2018. Summary of actual receipt profile for 2018 budget year. The revenue brought forward was 10,597,496,220. The actual amount received was 58.537,817,474, which is 55.8%. Federal government contribution was 81 billion, 882,000, of course 81 billion point 882. The actual amount received was 65.328,627,708, which represents 80%. Unpaid arrears by federal government was 33 billion point 981, and the actual amount received was 0, and so it's 0% funding. Ecological funds, 0%, no amount was received, and so it didn't represent, it's 0%. All companies' contribution was 219.902.550, and the actual amount received was 219,298,669.792, which is 99.7%. Other internally realized income was 150 billion. An actual amount received was 95.748433, which is 63.5%. So the total revenue was 346.513,046,220. Actual amount received 344.117,863,407, and of course it's a total of 99%. The Commission recorded 99% on its revenue profile for the year 2018. The 2018 elapsed on July 31st, 2019. Next would be the summary of the NDDC expenditure profile for the 2018 budget. The proposed revenue for recurrent personnel, 19.521650 billion, and actual performance was 19.502,128.350, which and the performance percentage is 99.96%. Overhead under the recurrent was 12.7375.5. Actual performance was 12694,192.500. Performance percentage 99.62%. On the proposed revenue capital, internal capital was 2.883 billion. Actual performance, 2.883 billion, 100% performance. Project development, 311.370,896,220. And the actual performance is 304,428,534,941. Actual performance in percentage was 97.8%. Total revenue, therefore, was 3.51315 billion due to late passage of the 2018 budget. Philosophy is intended to reposition the Commission and realign it to its core mandate. This necessitated the initiation of a forensic audit by Mr. President to review the activities of the Commission from inception. 2019 budgets are expected to bring a better outcome, as the budgets will have broad policy thrust of a new beginning for the Commission. The key objective of the 2019 budget is to realign the Commission to its core mandate by developing a new baseline for a better Niger Delta region in line with the Niger Delta Regional Development Master Plan. In line with the federal government's policy to have a uniform budget calendar and to ensure that resources are managed prudently and utilized solely for the public good, we have strengthened the confidence of contractors and also reduced the volume of our budget by compressing all projects in the approved 2018 budget below 250 million naira into line item sector by sectors in various states. It is our belief that only performing contractors will access the funds in that sector on performance basis. Permit me, distinguished chairman and members of this committee, to make some adjustments in our 2019 revenue projection, which was predicated on the 409 billion naira. This includes federal government contribution of 128 billion naira in line with the NDDC Act 2000, oil and gas contribution of 200 billion, also expected payment of 35 billion arrears of money owed to NDDC by the federal government. Regrettably, the reality on ground based on actual receipt shows that our projection is far from being reached. Hence, a new revenue projection of 346.39 billion is proposed as listed below. The projected revenue of the Commission for 2019 is as follows. Proposed revenue brought forward. Earlier revenue projection, 11 billion. Adjusted revenue projection, 11. Federal government contribution, 128.683 billion. Adjusted revenue projection, 100,188,921,129. Oil and gas companies contributions, 230 billion. Adjusted revenue projection, 230 billion. Unpaid arrears by federal government, 35 billion. Ecological funds, 5 billion. Adjusted revenue projection, 5 billion. Other realized incomes, 200 million. Adjusted revenue projection, 200. Total revenue is 409,883 billion. Adjusted revenue projection, 346,388,922 billion. Based on the adjustment, the 2019 budget estimates of the Commission is based on a revenue projection of 346.388921 billion. The 2019 represents 13% decrease over the 2018 revenue. The recurrent expenditure is made of personnel and overhead cost. Personnel expenditure, the number of staff as at 31st December 2018 was 1,444, and the approved 2018 personnel budget was 19.52 billion. The personnel budget estimate for 2019 is 21.83 billion. The increase by 12% against 2019 estimate is because of staff promotion and need to recruit low and middle level staff to fill existing gaps. The overhead cost expenditure for 2018 was 12.73 billion. In 2019, we are proposing for 12.86 billion. The increase by 1% against the 2018 is as a result of the Commission's resolve to efficiently manage its processes. The total recurrent expenditure, personnel and overhead cost for 2018 is 32.26 billion, while in 2019 we are proposing 34.70 billion, which is 8% increase above the 2018 approved. This consists of capital expenditure estimates consist of development projects, programs and non-project capital expenditure, internal capital. Development projects and program expenditure for 2018 was 311.371 billion, representing 90% of the total revenue of 346.5 billion. We are proposing 310.403 billion for 2019, representing 89.6% of the total revenue for years. The non-project capital expenditure for 2018 was 2.88 billion, while we are proposing 2.08 billion for 2019, representing 38% decrease over 2018. The Commission has given priority to adequately use its resources to concentrate on the capital development projects. Our priority is birthing to a new NDDC that will place emphasis on critical sectors of economy to complement federal government's effort in uplifting the standard of living of the Niger Delta people. Our infrastructure is of paramount importance to us. We have to work hard on this because we acknowledge that government funding alone will not be able to deliver all the benefits and services and infrastructure that we need for the region. We are also exploring public-private partnerships with other development actors, which will enable us to implement some of these infrastructure. We will continue to execute roads, power, works, bridges, jetties, canalization projects across the region. In conclusion, the NDDC has made some progress in recent years, and I'm pleased to reiterate that the 2019 budget is designed to sustain and consolidate the gains that had been recorded over the years. The theme of our 2019 budget is tagged Budget for the Repositioning of the NDDC. We are committed to prompt reporting to our stakeholders, and hence we shall put information as much as possible in the public domain. The budget itself will be uploaded on the NDDC website, www.nddc.gov.ng. Distinguished Chairman and committee members, I want to thank you all for your attention. It is my pleasure and honor to present the 2019 Niger Delta Development Commission budget proposals to this distinguished committee.